Hello and welcome to Voice of the Fat Mantis, continuing our epic collab week. I am here once again with Matt Cat from the prolific Scooper and Review nerd channel, Geek What?
What's up, nerds?
Hello, Matt. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm living the dream. I think we're about to talk about Moon Knight, are we not?
We are. We're about to talk about all things Moon Knight.
We just saw the finale. It was there.
Right on.
It was a thing, and we've got to get into it. I think we're going to start with let's talk about the season overall before we get into
okay. Yeah. I am not gonna lie. I don't know how you felt about it, obviously, because we're doing this, but I didn't like. If I have to talk about overall, I didn't like it. Overall.
I put it as one of the lesser shows, so I've seen some.
Yeah, I think I didn't like it because it was more of like an exploration into mental health than it really was like a superhero thing for me personally. And I mean, I'm not into this whole, I don't know. If I wanted to watch Dr. Dolittle, I'd watch Dr. Dolittle, but I'm not in the mood for this where, or what's that Eddie Murphy movie where he switches personalities? It doesn't matter. Anyways, so I'm not
all of them. I want to give a quick shout out to Ryan Airy of Screen Crush for having his Jake Lockley theory come to fruition. Now, a lot of YouTubers have been predicting Jake Lockley's existence simply because he's in the comics. However, it was Ryan Airy who pointed out the times when Mark was actually acting as Jake, particularly with accent changes, attitude changes, and also realizing that alcohol equals the presence of Jake. That came true. So kudos to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm not into that nonsense. I was hoping for, kung fu fighting, and it just didn't happen.
Yes, and also that I noticed that Marvel likes to adapt the newer storylines of characters. Like they do their main origin, and then they're like, let's do a storyline. It's 40 years later. And they're not doing Stan Lee's classics or like the old ones.
Yeah. And have you ever read any Moon Knight comics?
I did. And when I was a kid, I wasn't crazy about him, but I did. I've read a couple of his comics, and I have some of his stuff from the 80s. I inherited a pretty good collection of comics.
That's pretty cool.
Even my dad was like a comic book collector. So I inherited ones that are way older than me. And so I remember reading, being bored and being like, who's this Moon Knight guy? And reading it. And it's true that he had mental health problems, but it was more about vigilantism.
Right on.
Being the Marvel Batman. And however they've adapted the newer, the Jeff Lemire interpretation of him, where it's all about mental health. It's all about a psych ward, like a story about getting him trapped in a psych ward that's run by Amit. So I just feel like I wanted to see some of the Batman stuff, Batman Rip.
Yeah, I mean, there were some, I kind of, no, I don't think so. I'm trying, my thoughts are all over the place on that part, but I don't know if I liked it or not. I did, but if I have to pick, I didn't like it.
Because what I'm saying is that what I'm saying is I would have liked to see him in costume fighting crime and maybe beating up a mugger or two, or
Yeah, I just was expecting like I was expecting more Egyptian stuff, and like I don't know. And then the personality thing, like it was fine, but I was like, overall, I just didn't like it. But at the same time, there were lots of episodes. There were 2 episodes particularly that I liked, which was the first one and the last one.
The finale.
The finale. But I mean, the in between stuff went from bad to okay for me. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
So with me, I liked 1 and I liked 4 and 5 a lot.
Gotcha.
I thought that the finale ultimately, we're getting into finale thoughts.
Yeah, let's talk about finale thoughts.
The best this show has to offer is the performance of Oscar Isaac, both as Stephen Grant and Mark Spector, as well as fun and comical appearances of Egyptian gods, particularly some of their animation, where Khonshu did not hold up all the time. The hippo goddess and Amit definitely did. And the fact that there's a kaiju fight at the end of the film didn't hurt itself as well. I thought it was too long.
Really? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, no. Okay. I don't think so, personally.
Okay, because I realized that we were like 10 minutes in before we even saw him again.
Oh, right
It
on.
was all about his girl, Layla or whatever, and the evil dude. And like, the evil dude, what's so funny? He has a cane with two gator heads, and he's like, it's finally time. And he gets the ultimate evil power. And then like one of the gator heads turns into an axe and the other one becomes like slightly bigger. And I'm like,
That's so
that didn't
funny.
impress me at all.
Yeah, that's funny. That's
That
funny.
was
You
just
just
it's like from a small cane to like a slightly bigger cane. Like,
right on. Well, one thing I did appreciate is because I felt like in episode 4 when they got all the avatars of the gods to show up, they didn't have any they didn't pay to show off the gods, the Egyptian gods. So I was expecting that, and then this one they did it. They put those gods. Which, by the way, how did you feel about the visual effects for the Egyptian
actually, I
gods?
was gonna say that's something I really liked about the episode. I really enjoyed Amit particularly.
Me too. I agree.
And
It was
eating
really
the
good.
souls and all that stuff, like
Yeah.
that was a cool scene. The growing giant, it was, yeah, no, I like, and that's what they were saving their budget for this.
Were you ever into Egyptian mythology?
Not so much, man, not so much. I like
Right on.
Norse. I like Norse
Oh,
mythology.
see, I was into it for like a pretty well known YouTuber likes to say, you're into these things for a period of time in your life, and I was for sure. And although Rick Riordan, to go off on a small tangent, he writes books, these Percy Jackson books, but he also has a trilogy about Egyptian mythology, which is very good if you want to learn that stuff, but in like a teach your kids kind of way. But yeah, I was interested in it for a little bit. So some of this stuff kind of made sense, and then some of it I was like, I don't remember it like that. But I mean, what do I know?
Oh.
But no, I thought this episode was good. I like that it was a lot of punchy, a little punchy punch.
I
I
enjoyed the
was
action. I absolutely enjoyed the action.
Yeah, I was super happy they didn't do a bait and switch, because that was my biggest fear.
It
That
looked like it was going to happen for a second.
Yeah, that was my biggest fear, that at the end, Layla would be the new Moon Knight. And I'm all like, we barely gotten to love this character, and you're just gonna take him away. That's rude. And then I liked, like we said, I liked the gods and shoot, the CGI for that. I liked that a lot, especially like you said, Ahmed. That was my favorite. But yeah, for the most part, I enjoyed the last episode. I thought it was pretty good.
I didn't think it was a stinker. I thought there was a lot of good stuff in it. And so
Right on.
one of the things I thought that like annoyed me, because like I guess I'm like a time fascist. Because essentially like this, I look at things all the time and I'm like, well, how can we edit this to be shorter? How can we edit this
Oh, right
to be
on.
shorter? Why is this so long? And one of the things I didn't care for is that his girlfriend, and I don't even know in the comic books who his girlfriend is in terms of superhero heroics, but she just suddenly gets an avatar.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Not foreshadowed, not set up. And so they call her the little scarab. She gets a hippo avatar, and her superpower is that she gets bird wings.
Right
Like,
on.
what is going on here? Like,
That's so funny. Which I'm
felt
all like,
random to me. It felt very, very.
yeah, I don't think that like goddess, like I don't know. It's very weird. Like I was all like, well, you could have made her look a little bit more like the the hippo.
That hippo was her avatar, correct?
Yeah.
So
And
I don't understand where these bird wings come from.
yeah, that's more of I think that's more of like Hathor. I think she has wings. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember off the top of my head.
So that was a little confusing for me. And then like I think it's weird, like it didn't seem like the hippo goddess was like already into avatars, like she wasn't actively looking
Right.
and then suddenly
Yeah.
she's like, hey, you.
Yeah, she's just on her boat all chilling out and everything.
She's
And
like
I
a
like
random
how
girl if people want to be my avatar. Now, apparently, the girlfriend isn't a nobody or an original character, but apparently is the gender swap version of the villain, sometimes anti-hero allied with Moon Knight, the Scarlet Scarab, which I guess should have known, because I think they already called her that. So that's fascinating. Still, I don't understand why a hippo has wings.
right. And I like, speaking of avatars, I like how Osiris's avatar, he like didn't die, which I want to talk about that real quick, but after I say this, but I like how his avatar is like, you have to trap Ahmet into a human form. And he's like, there's not enough avatars to do this. And then it's just two of them. And I was like, two is enough? Is that
And he
enough?
just
It
had a
took
council of them.
yeah, you took five of you to turn Khonshu into a statue. You need, but only two, and some statues of are
Right.
those counting as avatar? I was like, you're this is all your story's already not tracking, dead guy. So, and then speaking of that, one thing that they cheaped out on, which I was kind of annoyed with, was when Haro goes into the pyramid and the avatars show up and they're doing their little glowy eyes and they're all like, and then they just like stop the fight and the next scene they're all dead and I'm all like, oh, that's some nonsense right there. I was like, okay, well, I guess whatever, it's fine, but I was like,
It's
oh,
like
come on.
it's the Chekhov's gun thing. And like you were familiar with Chekhov's gun?
Yeah.
You don't bring in other gods unless we see them be godly. I
Yeah,
better
for
see
sure.
more than dudes in business suits.
Yeah.
It's like Contact, that movie Contact, where you're waiting
Yeah.
for an alien, and when you get to the alien, it's a hallucination of her father.
Yeah.
And
ridiculous.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you're
just
like,
want to see a damn alien.
yeah, we're so smart we can't show you what we really look like because you wouldn't get it. What?
We blow
What are
your
talking-
little mind.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we try?
Yeah.
So yeah,
And you think
so
Osiris would have a powerful avatar?
that's another thing. Like, I don't know who the other ones. One of them looked like, I think, was Bast, but I'm all like, and I asked myself this question, like, how does this like transfer over to the MCU as a whole? Because Bast, the god Bast, is rumored to appear in Thor Love and Thunder.
Oh, really?
And my sorry if I ruined it for you.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But my question is, if because I thought that black woman sat behind the statue or sat in front of the statue of Bast, the cat. And I'm all like, well, she just died. She can't be in Thor Love and Thunder unless, they're going to play. I don't know what they're, but I don't know. I'm just saying that I don't know if that's for real about this woman in this show.
Well, let me ask you, is Bast, and this is pardon my
Or
ignorance,
Basset.
is Bastet the same? Is it also the Panther god of Black Panther?
I think so, but I honestly don't know if I don't know what they're doing, but I would say yes. I would say yes.
Okay.
So if so, then Black Panther 2 can't happen because she's now dead. She's dead. So they don't have their Panther guy.
Weaknesses of the series tend to be the pacing and failures to land certain concepts of multiple personality disorder, or DID, otherwise known as, where sometimes the plot is a little too confusing for laymen and not easily accessible to people who are super into comics or paranormal crazy shenanigans such as this. After all, there is a trope going around all fiction where the character has at least one episode or chapter where they think they're crazy and they wake up in a insane asylum. We've been there, we've done that. That wasn't very sophisticatedly done. And also another great failing I would have to say is the CGI costume at times was just not even believable, man. I felt like I was in Green Lantern again. But ultimately, I do think the episode was very enjoyable in terms of like adventure and action and all these things.
I agree.
I do feel a problem with the season is that it is hit or miss as episodes, and they're not even at all.
I agree. Yeah, like I was hoping for a lot more.
So you had issues, I think, with the pacing of the show.
I did have lots of problems with pacing in the show. I thought it started out very well. I thought the first episode was good. And then 2, 3, and 4, I thought were awful. And the thing is, I'm all like, you could have made, this is only 6 episodes and it took us so long to get to the final result. And then the final result, I mean, like the ending was good, but I'm all like, you could have done so much more. Like, I know a lot of people are like, and I got chewed out for it about, the Mark Spector and his personalities, and not like somebody said something like, you don't want to know the person that you're watching or something like that. I can't remember. You just want to see a lot of punchy, and I'm like, yeah, I want to say this is a superhero show. I want to see some fighting. And I don't care about Mark and his friends inside his head.
And so that, yeah, that was kind of my problem with I think the Batman. We don't have to get too much off of a tangent, but like,
Right on.
it is when people are like, that's dumb, that's superhero stuff, using a cape that turns into glider, that's superhero stuff. I'm like, it's a superhero movie. I want to see
Right.
action, I want to see fighting, I want to see that gadgets, unreal gadgets. I don't want to see some dude with a grappling hook that's like real.
Right.
Like, it's just so basically the whole concept is like, we want to see that. That's why we came, that's why we tuned in. And I think WandaVision suffered from that it didn't have enough super heroic antics.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It was I like I said, I believe WandaVision's beautiful with its pacing, with like the art of it, but at certain times forgot it was supposed to be a superhero show.
Right on. Yeah, no, I agree.
And
I just
another thing I want to compare it to WandaVision that I wish they had kind of done is, do you remember in WandaVision, halfway through it, they give We Interrupt This Program was the name of the episode, and they give Monica Rambeau her own episode so we can know who she is and be caught up to what her whole story is.
yeah,
It
I
was a
remember
Monica
that episode.
Rambeau episode. I think they should have done that with his girlfriend, with Layla. I think they should have had space in the budget to give her own episode.
Yeah, I agree with that because I'm not gonna lie, like that character was very like dull for me. I also like their relationship. I was very much like I did not feel like they at all were ever in love, let alone married. Because I'm all like I'm sorry, these two and they have no chemistry as far as actors goes, and I don't know. I just I know I'm crapping all over this show, but well, you don't complain about the things you like. You only complain about the things you don't like. So, I
Well,
mean,
also you can still like something and be critical of it.
yeah, for sure.
I
It's
think that's perfectly fine.
but I do say that episodes 2, 3, and 4, I did not like them. 5 was okay, and then 6 and 1 I did like. So, I mean, I don't know what percentage that is, and if it gets a Rotten Tomato or not, but yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And this has been a great rundown. But ultimately, you say you like the final episode. You just feel that the season 1 could have been better.
Yeah.
I
I think.
agree.
Go ahead.
I agree, and I think I like it enough that I want a second season.
Right on. Yeah. For sure. Yeah, which I do want to talk to you about the second season.
We're gonna get into it, but
Right
I think that goes down to our basic review of both the finale and the full season. And this has been part 1 of our review, as part 2 is going to happen on your channel, correct?
For sure. Yeah.
Excellent, guys. So this is Matt Cat 83, but you might know him as Geek What. Please check him out in his channel. There'll be a link down below to his Twitter and to his YouTube. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, of course, to Voice of the Fat Mantis for more review, shenanigans, and analysis. And then don't forget, part 2 of this review, we're going to get into further depth, and we're going to talk about season 2 of Moon Knight over on Geek What.
Yeah. See you guys
Awesome.
there.
Until next time, guys. Ciao for now. Bitches.
Bye.